Welcome into our lives.
And welcome to the Expanders Club podcast.
We're so happy to have you.
Join us as we embark on a journey of deep exploration, soul searching, and asking the hard questions.
With the goal of truly understanding the most aligned, empowered, and purposeful versions of ourselves.
We want to live an extraordinary life, and we're willing to dig deep to find out what it takes.
Buckle up. You're about to meet a new version of yourself, an extraordinary one. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Expanders Club podcast and a very special episode of Ask a Psychic. Christina, my friend, one of my favorite psychic mediums, medical mediums. So there's so many things that you are. How are you? Happy New Year. We made it.
Thank you. We're doing it. Yeah, I keep saying to everyone, happy or whatever feeling you're having, New Year or whatever you want to call this day.
Yeah, right. It is a little bit patriarchal to, January 1st is all of a sudden we're supposed to be new,
Yeah.
New year, new you. It never feels that way to me. And I've kind of made peace with that over the years. It's been a journey. But how are you feeling?
I'm feeling actually really good. This past Monday was January 5th when we're recording it on January 8th. And I feel like it was the Mondayest of Mondays ever,
So true.
But I had this huge surge of energy and I'm working on building routine back and just all of that stuff. And so it's hard to separate that from the energy of the collective and the momentum. I just released the pressure of anything on the first. I was like, I don't feel great and I don't want to do anything. And there was this duality of it's go time. No, it's couch time. No, it's go time. Now it's couch time, And so, yeah, I actually feel really, really good, which is a welcome surprise and an invitation. Yeah.
Okay. I felt that on the 4th, the Sunday scaries. I really did my best to take the time over the holidays off. I was off of social media, and actually I still am at this moment, and really just be present in my day to day. And having a 4-year-old at Christmas time is literally the best thing ever. It's so fun.
So cute.
But then similar to you and past versions of myself, it's okay, well, you took 2 weeks off. Now it's time, come Monday, January 5th, everyone's back. There's expectations. I'm on a timeline because of the pregnancy, right? I have 3 months left of work before the baby comes. And so I started to feel those Sunday scaries creep in and this crazy unnecessary pressure on myself to the point where I had to be whoa, this is not going to be healthy. I felt it creeping up in my body, and Monday came and I put my head down and did my work, but it was you realize everyone's kind of in the same place. There's this collective anxiety and energy, and no one's emailing you because they're trying to get together. And it was just a moment of how silly are these restrictions and timelines and forced energy that we bring into things like a new year.
Yeah, it's true. And you're making a really good point about progress, which has been a theme that's been coming up in my sessions the last couple of weeks about you just set a timeline that's really real, right? You're giving birth on a specific day that is real. And then you assign all of this pressure to it, right? This energetic, I have to do X, Y, Z before the progress of this is complete, right? And you're in a gestation period. Your baby's in a gestation. There's this pause that comes with that pregnancy. And so I'm curious about it's an invitation to pause with a pregnancy, not just the holidays, but to just be you and the birth to pause. My point is, and what we'll learn about in this episode with our amazing guest Rose, is what do you feel is behind your sense of progress and completion or renewal or whatever? And I'm curious too, we talk about the anxiety, but I think there's also a paradox of I think people feel anxiety because feel pressure to feel hope and feel good. And I think that's why I'm saying like it's a welcome surprise for me to feel so genuinely good. Because typically before I would have felt like, what am I not doing? Why don't I feel like the rejuvenation of a new year? And so, yeah, I think it's important to remind people like it's okay if you don't feel the hope, and releasing the need to feel the hope will create the momentum for you to just feel good. So yeah, I'm curious what your relationship is with progress. And as Rose said, like we're hot and successful and by all means doing great. So what the
Yeah.
heck?
Yes. Gosh, it's such a great question. And I think it's a great question for the audience to ask themselves right now, too, because it has a huge impact on our lives. And my relationship to progress is something that I have been working on for years because
Mhm.
progress was a big part of defining my worth for a long time, you
Yeah.
know? Um, And man, it's still something that I'm working on in every moment, even this morning. I 9 o'clock, I get Bowie out the door for school, which is just a few minutes before 9. I look at the clock, it's 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I haven't done anything. But
Mhm.
Christina, I got a full other human ready for school. I packed her homemade lunch. I made homemade almond milk for breakfast things. I had laundry in. I had fed and taken care of pets. Like, I did a workout. Like, what are you talking about?
That's
You
literally
know?
wild. Yeah.
So I think for me, it's been about recognizing that voice in those
Mhm.
moments of like old patterns or old storytelling that's not true. And also trying to lean in more to the side of me that knows and trusts everything unfolds in divine timing. I am enough. I am doing enough, and my worth isn't tied to the doing at all. The beauty of life is in being, right? And that is much more beautiful. And I have a history now where I can look back and say, I've leaned into being enough. Like I've had periods of, over the summer or times where we give ourselves a little more permission, where I really leaned into being and everything was okay. Like everything was more than okay. Everything was great. Actually, like the world didn't fall apart. Like my things still got done. Like the important things that move the needle still got done. And so it's definitely this dance that I do on a daily basis of like catching that voice, bringing it back to my knowing, and then pulling in experiences from my past that where I've exercised the energy that I actually want to be in and being like, no, it's
Yeah.
all good. It's
That is
all
such a
good.
great tool. That historical record is like, we forget, I'll give you an example of one of my client sessions this past week. She came in, it was our fourth session together, and she's like, I feel like I'm not making progress. Like, what do I do? Like, how do I prove I don't think I'm doing enough, and we're obviously working on the spiritual component of things or the energetic shifting and her life, getting better and her relationship with her soul and her guides and the miracles of life. And again, we've only been working together for 4 sessions, and we're talking about that. And we did a couple things. One, we identified like, if you're not making progress, instead of me jumping in and being like, well, let me prove to you all of the things that you have done, I was like, hold on, I'm gonna get into battle with this part of you because this is
Yeah.
not your soul talking. What is the progress and that feeling of urgency keeping you safe from? If it's protecting you, what is it protecting you from? And then it was like emotions, like anger, and it's protecting me from feeling actually sad. Okay, then we were feeling sad. Emotion was coming up for her. And then it was like, okay, what is that grief? Like, why are you feeling grief if your idea of progress isn't being made? And what we got to is, I feel like I'm going to die if I'm not making progress. It feels like a death. Like, why is life worth living if I can't prove externally that this progress is being made? And once we hit on that, and it just all released. And then this beauty came in where she was like, "Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you when you told me to look for this specific symbol. My boyfriend found this in the closet and brought it to me." And then we had this beautiful moment of connection. And like, I had no idea that it was even there and, found it. And then she told me all these things. I said, "That's so wild that you said you're not making progress. And here you just gave me 10 examples of miracles that you never knew could be part of your life." And she was like, "Oh my God. I
Yes.
just didn't even count any of that. And so I encourage anyone who's listening, and I'll do this for myself too, of like go back and say, like, what are things that I've accomplished? Not even accomplished, but like if you look at the miracle, if you look at life as a bunch of miracles that happened, even if it's a placebo effect, like why do you have to assign meaning to everything, the thing that we found in the back of the closet? It's like, well, why not? You
It's
know?
more fun.
It's more fun. Another example, I had a client who I was like, why do I keep seeing sneakers and like new shoes? And she's like, oh my God, I had to leave my shoes back in Budapest and I was thinking about getting new ones. And I said, well, okay, let's pretend and just play with the fact that sneakers came up for like, what's a metaphysical reason for that? What analogy can we make? You're walking towards a new path. Your feet are ready for something fresh. We're moving forward. Things are going. You're letting go of something behind. Like, or you just need new sneakers, right? But either way,
Right.
I encourage everyone listening to like look at the miracles of your life. And if everything had meaning, how would you count your quote unquote progress?
I love that so much. And that's something that I've been feeling, the call that I've been feeling for the collective for the year in general is to just witness miracles, see the miracles that are coming through every single day. Like the
Yeah.
way the light shines through
Mhm.
a window in your house, like the the sunset, like the way your kid, like something sweet that your kid says out of the blue. Like there's so many little things. And when you start to get yourself in that mindset, it just so changes. It so changes your own vibration and your perspective on everything in the world. My word for this year is miraculous. I can
Look
just sit
at
and say it.
that.
I can say it to myself first thing in the morning, and I just feel myself lift to a whole different energetic level just by saying the word and saying like I expect miracles today.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really beautiful one. And I think because we've been in the work for so long, we understand the levity of miracle. And I just want to share for people listening, miracle doesn't have to be something grandiose. And if you feel anxiety when you hear the word miracle and pressure to have progress and for your life to give you, for $1 million to land in your bank account, and that's not what Brooke is sharing, and what I agree with, which is like the miracles of your life are these small moments. It's getting new sneakers, it's finding that lost item, it's seeing the light, shine through the window. It's all of that, and so just a reminder to make sure that those miracles feel real in this moment and attainable in a way that almost feels like you're going to say to like, is that even significant? It feels so
Yes.
tiny.
I love that reminder. And that is actually more of what I mean in miracles. Like
I
it's
know
like,
we did.
Christina, it's like these stupid human things, like finding that one
Yeah.
thing that you were stressed about spending money on Facebook Marketplace, right? And it's
Yes.
the exact thing, and it's like in your price range, and you can negotiate it. I got this packet of cacao butter the other day, and I went back and forth on Amazon because one was not the shape of the cacao pieces that I wanted, but it was chunks, and I was gonna have to cut them when I got it. But I got it anyway because it was cheaper and it was just as good. I get my order, I open up the bag, and they sent me the one that was the pieces of the shapes of the cacao butter I wanted. And I literally in the moment I was like, what a freaking miracle. Like it literally made my afternoon. And I was like, I am crazy. And this is making me so happy. But literally in that moment I
No,
was
it's
like,
so
oh my
true.
God, it's a miracle. Like I got exactly what I wanted.
I love that so much. Yeah, I had a small miracle was it yesterday? Where am I? No, 2 days ago. Um, I get my house cleaned every week. It's a joy that I've given myself for a long time that frees me up. And the person who cleans my house was gone this week. And so I reached out to someone new to say, because I'm hosting some workshops at my space. And it just would have felt nice to not have to clean. And so I reached out to someone and I was like, hey, any chance you have availability? She's like, absolutely not. It's the holidays. Like, I am fully booked. And I was like, okay, I would love, if you could come by and just check out my space and let me know quote and if anything opens up. So she comes by at the perfect time. I had finished up all my sessions. She's like looking at my house and I'm just kind of like, oh man, I just, it's okay. I'll have to, I'll just clean it. And I said, any chance you have time right now? And they're like, actually, we do. And I was like, great. Can you just clean the space that
Right.
people are showing up? And the joy I felt in that moment, I didn't have to push it. I wasn't like calling a bunch of people to try to get my house clean. I had surrendered to the fact that I can clean my own house. Like, I'll make the time. It's not a big deal. And once I did, it was like, there they were, just, cleaning. I felt so loved and cared for. And they were like little angels, in my life. And so, yeah, those are really cute examples of just.
And I think it's almost like, I don't want to say a shortcut, but it is a way to bypass some of the spiritual hard work too, right?
Yeah.
If you can raise your vibration to a place where you're seeing miracles in the mundane, miracles every day in your life, like you've just bypassed a bunch of work that you to get there.
That's the good kind of spiritual bypassing.
Yeah, it's a huge sign of your energetic vibration, where you are, how magnetic you're going to be able to witness miracles. And so like this is a little quantum leap if you can just take this trick and start to apply it to your life without doing all the work to get there.
Okay, you're inspiring me for something. So I do this gratitude journal where you write one line a day of something that you were grateful for that day, and then it flips back to the beginning for the next year. And so you end up with 5 years where you see on that day what you were grateful for.
That is cool.
It is cool, but it doesn't have to be gratitude. Maybe I just say a small miracle that happened today. It's kind of one and the same and synonymous, but I think that's a really good idea.
I love that idea because also too, when you have a gratitude practice, you start to not need a gratitude practice because you just are, I'm sure at this point in your life, you are automatically grateful and expressing it out without stopping and thinking about it, right? So
if there's a miracle, you're gonna feel grateful.
Time to switch it to miracles. Yes. Yes. And with that, I think that our guest today, Rose, I think there were some miracles that happened in her session. She came in very heavy with a lot of big things on her mind.
It was heavy and empty, right? That was wild.
Yes. Yeah, it was very interesting. And with so much like love and potential and all the things too. Like there, as we had say in the episode, there was so much duality happening, so much energy. But I felt huge shifts for her by the end. And I felt like really, I use the word progress, but I feel like there was some real clarity that happened for her in this session.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime that we're sharing something and someone cries, I feel like it's a win. The chorus of guides and spirit is like, yeah, let it go. And it's so vulnerable to do, and on camera or being recorded, and to just let that flow and to be witnessed in that and to be held not just by us, but anyone who listens are going to be able to pour love and empathy and see themselves in it. And so that release and that clarity of like the, oh shit moment of like, okay, this is real. And then she said something that, gosh, Brooke, if we had a dime for every time we heard this, like, I know this in my head. These are all very aware people who have done the work. They are not afraid to be courageous in what they look at and make big changes. But the struggle is that they're like, how do I embody that? Like, why isn't it clicking in a way that allows for the change of my life? And so often the answer is not unique necessarily from person to person. It's like, where is that being embodied? Where do you actually get to feel that grief that came up for that client I told you about, who wanted to make progress, that feeling of wanting to die because you feel like there's no point if you're not making progress and showing up for it. And so she did that in a way. She was able to feel into that, grief or release, and that's what makes the difference. I learned this week that it takes 7 seconds for your amygdala to fire off the chemical in the neurons for you to feel an emotion. No one waits 7 seconds.
Right.
That is a long time. Ready? Let's do it. Okay.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that felt like an eternity to have to wait between a trigger and you allowing the emotion.
Yeah.
Huge, right? To learn. So I ask people to just wait, count to 7. Is there an emotion?
Well, and that brings up something that I just want to touch on real quick that Rose said in the session, something she mentioned about like trusting her emotions. And I
Mm.
wanted to be like in the session, like, should trusting your like don't like should we trust our we should never trust our emotions, you know? That's not that's not gonna help. But I think that that comparison is such a good point, is like we get so wrapped up and so caught up in the emotion of it, and the emotion's not even fully it's not even fully developed, and yet we are being reactive in these undeveloped emotions. And it's that time in between. If you could take 7 seconds to feel the emotion and then connect it back to, why am I feeling this emotion, and like separate yourself from that feeling, like that's the work. That's where the work happens, right? Is in that pause, in that space where you can, whoa, take a minute. Like we talked about big things. Her, before she got on today, she was talking about leaving her relationship, her husband, and I know they have children as well, so that's a big deal, and shutting down her business.
Yeah, her mega successful business.
Right. And those are, we get into it, but it was coming from such an emotional place. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like that is not a safe space to make
Okay, I'm
big
gonna challenge you big time on this, okay?
okay.
Is this our
Okay.
first fight? And I don't know, neither one of us is right or wrong, but this is kind of my philosophy. And I think we're probably saying the same thing, but to reframe it, for me is important. It's not trusting your emotions and not saying I'm separating. It's actually bringing it in so deeply and closely and looking at it and loving it and holding it and saying, I see you sadness. I see you grief. I know I'm triggered. I know I'm freaking out. And to just being with it and pausing with those 7 seconds, 30 seconds, minutes, however long it takes to be with it. And then instead of kind of banishing it, you're allowing it the space to be free, to not rule your next action or get stuck in your body. And so often what I see, it's the resistance to your emotions, your unwillingness to be with your emotions, and that creates resistance and disease in the body. And so I think naming the feelings without identifying with them, like I am not sadness, I am not grief. And when she comes in with the emotions and saying trusting your emotions, maybe we reframe it as, I don't need to trust that I am the emotion, that this emotion is going to rule me. I can trust that my emotions are here to share something meaningful to me, and I can trust myself to be able to take a pause and understand what that message is and where the emotion lives in my body. So it's really just like a complete intimacy with your emotions, but that allows you the freedom to not get stuck in the whirlpool of I am just my freaking out and
Yeah.
fear, you know? Um,
Well, sorry, no fight here, because I 100% agree with you. And I think what I was feeling from her, the energy I was feeling from her in the moment and relating to, is like trusting your relationship in, or trusting your emotion in that split second, and then acting on it in that
yes,
split second,
yes.
right?
Attention
That's
toward
what
distinction.
that relationship I don't think is helpful and healthy. And I think, just like you said,
Yeah.
it's the acknowledging it,
Yes.
giving space to separate yourself from it, examine it, sit with it, absolutely, and decide, like, is
Yeah.
this coming up because I need to act on it, or is this coming up because it's a trigger from my past, from a story that makes no longer is true, from some conditioning? And the answer is pretty much 100% of the time.
Yeah, you're talking about urgency, Brooke. You're saying if you feel an emotion and your urgency is to go and do something about it, then that is just escapism.
Yes.
That is you trying to soothe yourself by doing the next right thing to get you and avoid the emotion that you're feeling. And so that is what I'm hearing that you were sensing, and you did such a beautiful job in the session of like yeah, acknowledging like what's the rush to do something. And then we brought her back to a place of if everything was okay and you didn't have to make any decisions and all you have to do is create space, right? That was a big one that came up. Create the space. Then what choices do you make? And she was kind of like, I just kind of burn it all down and then see what blooms again. Okay, not to go on another tangent, but I want to talk, speaking of blooming, how cool was it that plants came up? I like plants were communicating to her and you know, as a psychic, we get so many visuals of, that I have to explain sometimes or I hear a different language that I don't know how to translate, you know, from a guide and I was explaining this plant and what came through, I finally was able to kind of chat GPT it on the side. And I found it was a Kyusha hydrangea. And it's for kidney support. And she was like, oh my gosh, I was just talking to a healer about needing kidney support. And I just started taking supplements or kidney support. And so it's so cool how all these different like symbols and ways come in to give the same information of like how to support your body through this. But I really love to be able to like meet a plant today. That was so fun for
I
me.
know. It's a beautiful example of like the information's there. We just
Yeah.
have to, you and I are just tapping in and
Yes.
pulling it
Yeah.
from the environment around us that we can see and tap into, and everyone and anyone can. It's all right there for us. The answers are there, and we like overcomplicate it all, which is a beautiful part of our human nature. But I think and I hope for everyone that this year is about simplifying,
Yeah.
going inward, trusting, gaining clarity for ourselves, like gaining trust in ourselves. Like I feel like I feel some really beautiful movement into the woo for the collective, into
Yeah.
people's more spiritual side, into again like this like coming home to
Mm.
ourselves. That's an energy I'm really excited about for the year. And so I hope that everyone listening can feel that for themselves too. And like, take some of the pressure off and just like play and be curious and have adventures in finding themselves.
It's almost like you know my word of the year. It's whimsy.
Ooh,
Play, curiosity, adventure, to lean into spontaneous, to push my edges of like, why not just do it? Why not? And
I
find
love
ways
that
it
for
feels like
you.
playful.
Oh my God, I'm getting the chills. I love that for you so much.
Thank you.
I Oh, girl, you're gonna have so much fun this year. I'm gonna be, nursing a baby, and you're gonna be out on all your adventures, and I'll be living vicariously through you. I love it.
Oh, I love you.
All right, friend, this was a beautiful session. For everyone listening, there's so much to relate to. If you are thinking about what to do in your relationship, if you're thinking about what to do in your professional life, if you have some big questions coming up that you're feeling like you urgently need answers to, this is a really, really good one to listen to. Put yourself in Rose's shoes and take the words and take the pieces that resonate for you. Christina and I both work separately, as I'm an oracle. Christina's a psychic medium, medical medium. If you'd like to book a session with us, you're welcome to. We also do sessions together. We would love to spend time with both of you, or with both of us. It's kind of the best of all worlds. Literally, we tap into so many worlds and so many energies. And so if you'd like to book something that is not recorded and that is private and that's a little bit longer, we'd love to explore with you. You can DM us, either us personally, which you can find in the show notes, or directly at Expanders Club, and we'll make sure to get back to you.
Thank you all. We love you.
All right. Happy New Year. Thanks, Christina.
Whenever you're ready.
I would like clarity on how to release and receive more with more ease and abundance.
Okay. That's a loaded question. And a little bit vague. So we're going anonymous today, which I absolutely love. We're going to call our guest Rose. And Rose, let's take that question, and I can tell Christine already has some information around it, but can you tell us why you're showing up and hanging out with us today?
so that I can become a better version of myself, more
Mm.
evolved, less blockages, less attachments. And I feel like a main a main block is trying to control and not receiving with ease, trying to force it. And I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I love that. So let's start there. How can we how can we release some of that control and which and be open to more receiving, which both kind of go hand in hand, right? This is a very relatable thing. This is something, just so you know, I'm working on myself as well. Um, Christina, anything coming through that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Um, First, there's some pretty clear signals from your body. Um, it feels like there's both tension and like emptiness, if that makes sense. Like you're trying to control to keep the container safe, to create a way for you to hold on and feel like the steps of your life that are unfolding, you can see every step of the way. And the truth is, the path is unfolding in a way that is beyond your comfort level, and it's for the highest good. But because there's this open container that feels like this void that you don't know what you're opening, you have a lot of input coming in from a lot of different places. There's the energy of your business, for one, that is confusing to you right now, where it poured you and filled you up. It is now feeling unmoored. The relationship, kind of same thing. You're sort of bringing your attention there, but also trying to control. And so we need to fill that space, that airiness in you up with a feeling of the paradox of surrender and both feeling resourced and full of love and confident.
I feel a lot of duality in her energy,
Mhm.
Christina. Do you feel that? Like it's like she's very it's just so many things. Like she's very empathic, but also like again that
Mhm.
control, like force energy. Like she's there's a very calm, like chillness to her, but then like not not. Um, and Rose, wondering if you feel that. If do you feel this like constant back and forth between who you maybe are at your core and how you show up in the world?
I do feel a lot of duality, yes, oftentimes.
It feels like you that the like we'll call it like the grittier, harsher side is almost forced on you due to circumstances. Like you've almost been pushed in to this corner or this way of being that you're where there is a bit more defensiveness, a bit more control, a bit of like having to be strong, a bit of having to be masculine. And I feel like you're really tired. You're like tired of the costume. You're tired of like not having the space. You're tired of just not being your true self.
Yes, it's all like a an inherited and learned and needed while younger protective mechanism that I no longer need, but I don't know how to shut it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna ask why both your mother and your grandmother and your great grandmother were coming through, and but your mother's still with us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's very, it's like you need a reparenting with the divine feminine, a
Yes.
way for you to fall apart and be held by something that is so pure and loving and nourishing to you, but you don't know where to put that because you didn't have that safety within your family of origin. And the release is really that this goes back so far that you're carrying a legacy burden that has nothing to do with you. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the fire and release it for you in a ceremony, both now and after this session. Um, So I'm calling in the divine feminine. I'm releasing that legacy burden. The beauty of this work is it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be therapized. The energy can shift right now, just like that, where you release. How does that feel in your body? Your back just like was so tense and now it's releasing quite a bit.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Hmm.
It resonates, and I'm crying.
Yeah. Very normal here in this space. So just hold your heart tenderly and maybe rock yourself back and forth and just hold that divine feminine. You are deserving of love. You are worthy of being safe. Your body can be nourished and things can be taken care of without your control. Okay.
I'm feeling a major feeling come through, and this word keeps coming up is resentment. Um, and it feels like probably because a lot of the stuff Christina just tapped into that, the audience listening doesn't fully know. Offline we talked about that you might have some questions about your relationship and about your relationship to your business, and it feels like there's a little bit of resentment toward both of them, that they've maybe aided in keeping you in this box or helped push you in this box into adulthood. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yes. Um, I feel like I've had to hold the masculine in both of those places, and
Mhm.
it's just I'm tired of it, and it doesn't allow me to be who I'm supposed to be. Like I'm not meant to carry this weight, and
Mm.
it's not allowing me to be my true self or like my fully exalted self so that
Yeah.
I can benefit the world. And
And
it's just gotten too heavy.
it's so heavy and you're so depleted, and you're again, it's like I see like this, it's almost like a caged animal, like trapped in this corner. And you're in a state, your nervous system, your physical body, your energetic body is in a state where the only the only way you see out is to burn it all down,
Yeah,
right? Like
I
you're
had Callie as my screensaver for a couple days, and then I was like,
okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know,
That's it.
this is too much. I had
Yeah,
to
you're
switch
like,
to
F it
ISIS.
all.
Yeah.
Yes. You're like, I'm just
I
putting
am
it all
feeling
up.
that fire energy from you of you're like, all right, you are done. You've had enough. Every part of you has had enough, and every part of you is screaming like, this is not how it has to be, and this is not how we're going to move forward. So you're at that moment in life where you've like, you've put that foot down, like for real. All parts of you have
Have
said enough is
I've
enough.
said it aloud.
And I love that for you. And I know Christine and I both know, and so much of our audience knows that moment. Um, but you're still in that anxious, like fight or flight, like your nervous system and all your systems are still not anywhere near being you. And so, again, like the only answer that you can come up with is like, it's time to burn this down. And I want us to check in and see if that's true, because it might be true, right? In some situations, that's the only way out. Or is this a moment that's meant to work through, especially in both those places that are such big parts of your life, your business and your partnership, your relationship? Like I'd love to, if you're open to it, Rose, I'd love to tap into at least one question on each of those so we can bring some clarity to, is this a burn it down moment, or is this a take a breath and let's figure out how we move forward in a different way but keep these things intact?
And Rose, before you do, I'm going to offer some wisdom that's coming through pretty clearly for you to consider. So there's an urgency in you that says, if I were to let everything go, then I immediately have to know what's next and grab onto the next rung on the monkey bars. And the urgency to feel like you're moving forward in the process, that things are accomplished, that you have the perfect right next step. That's a protector part. There's a protector part in you that is like, it has to be progress or it's not worth it. And your guides are encouraging you to reconsider that if there was no urgency and you could meet your future self in this moment, and she is whole, complete, successful, all of that, how would you relax into the present moment of your life and make decisions from there? Does that make sense?
It does, yes. That's something I talk about with my husband all the time, like leaning into God's timing.
Hmm.
Yes. And Christina, I'm getting the same message, and you put it more beautifully than I'm going to, but I just want to say it in a different way too, because that's how it's coming through for me is like knowing knowing the answer, knowing what needs to be done, knowing what is or isn't right for you doesn't always immediately need to be followed up by action.
Hmm.
Is the message I'm getting. And like I said, Christina said it much more beautifully, but there it feels like there's, and I know I can feel like your energy a little bit that feels uncomfortable because you're so done, but I think there's a process that is going to happen here. There's a process that you need to go through. There's a lot to shed. The stuff Christina talked about, like, yes, she just moved a ton of it energetically. Um, but it's a lot, right? It's not stuff that happened overnight. And so there's going to be a little bit of a process and a journey. And I think that where we're at in this moment is I see you like again, you've put your foot down and now you're stepping into that next part of your journey, but it's like you're not going out the front door of the cage, right? You're almost like bending the bars in a way that everyone that's watching you, their jaw drops, and you bend the bars and walk through it in a whole different path that no one ever saw coming. You yourself didn't even see coming. And like you're working up it's not the courage, but you're working up the confidence, the energy, the knowing to take that path.
Mhm. A few weeks ago, I was like so sure about my feelings and like the burning and the rage and just the finality of it. And then like I shared all that in loving conversation, and things have shifted, and I feel like we're trending upwards. And now I'm like, okay, maybe I don't need to burn it all down.
Yeah, they're saying
Like,
stay in
maybe
the
there's a lot
consideration.
that's like really wonderful and beautiful that I want to continue to take with me, but just in a different way.
Yes. And
Yeah,
I
there's
And
information and wisdom in the mess of it, Rose, that again, you just led yourself through a situation where you're like, maybe there's no urgency to make a decision. But in the burning it all down, the paradox of that, you actually found that you could arrive back to the places that you were, but with fresh heart, fresh eyes, fresh perspective. And so staying in that messy place makes a lot of sense. There's also one thing that's happening, which is a lot of this isn't actually yours. The screaming is really good. They keep saying, keep screaming. Yes, rage, like go to the top of the mountain and scream into the void. Like that is a really good way for you to release. But also, a lot of this isn't yours in the sense that, does your business touch a lot of people? Like, yeah,
yes.
yeah. You care so much about that, not from a numbers perspective, but from a loving perspective, which is why you started the business in the first place, I'm sensing. And there's too many people coming at you and you're accepting them. And we need to give them back their own sovereignty so that they can resource themselves and find what you do, and take what you do for themselves. Like it's off and running. So no need to like worry about the collective because you're actually taking on a lot of junk. Um, in their own healing and all of that through your care. So I'm just going to put a shield around you and kind of release them as like this amorphous, loving individuals, and kind of release you from the collective energy because there is a lot of shedding right now and a lot of stuff up in the collective. So does that make sense? Does that resonate?
I recently added like a new kind of arm of the business where I was inviting more one-on-one, like
Mm.
personal connection with people. And so it actually feels like, oh, wait, is that not the right thing to do?
They're saying no, not right now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little projection, like in trying to save yourself, you're trying to connect with others, but that's not the right place to go. It needs to be
Okay.
separate from your business and the way that you're vulnerable with others. So focus on friendships where you can be private and open and vulnerable. Find communities where you are the customer or client. Um, and
Okay.
like step out of that role for a minute. It's too much for your goals and your nervous system in this moment in time. So,
Okay.
or take it or leave
Yeah,
it.
and I think it's really important, the information I'm getting, it's really important for you to sit down and examine how and be really clear and truthful about how your relationship to your business has changed over time. And they want you to ask the question to yourself, and you might not have the answer right away, but it's a question you should sit with of how is this business serving me? Like separate from the purpose of the business, right? Or the marketing language of like, I started this business to help people with X, Y, or Z, as every female founder does. Uh, um, it the business is like it's doing that. It's doing that, right? It's serving that purpose, and it's time for there to be a little bit of a energy unplug from you in the business. And that doesn't mean that you don't run the business, you don't, have it. It's not still like the business isn't still what it is, but you need to be separate from the business and have your own energy, be your own energy source and not an energy source for the business. And you need to examine the relationship and say, how is this serving me at this moment in my life? Because we, especially as female founders, we're so intertwined with our businesses, and we forget that we started it. Yes, we started it for the purpose that we share publicly, but the business is meant to serve us too. So, how is the business serving you right now? And it doesn't have to be that it's doing anything for anyone else but you. How is it supporting you? Or how can it? How can it support you? How can it support your life? And see if there's something there that feels worth connecting to and worth keeping.
Yeah, they're saying let it be like your sugar daddy. Like let it pay
Mhm.
the bills right now. Let it be a source of abundance without um, getting in the minutia of it right now. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm also one more message kind of as we go to close out. I'm just seeing a lot of bicycles, like you getting back to riding a bicycle for joy. Um, and then like you're gonna get some symbols of bicycles around. It's a way that your guides are communicating. Have you had an experience of that yet? Or does that seem like something you enjoy?
I do love riding a bicycle.
Great. More of that. More of
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I feel in general you need space. You need some space. Um, you need alone time. Like you are very tapped in, you're very connected, but there's too much noise. So I think almost that, and Christina, chime in or feel free to add to this, but I feel like almost that's the first step. It's like how can you just get some space? How can you get some space from the business? How can you get some space from literally physical space away from your home, from your family for an hour, a few hours, maybe a few days, maybe you go on a solo trip. But in general, you need to create more space in your life for you to just be with you and tap in, have the answers, check, have that opportunity to start to calm your nervous system, have an opportunity to see what the rabbit holes are that you need to go down for the work, sit with and try to understand the next step of the journey. Like you are able to tap into that all, but you can't do it when there's so much noise around you.
Yeah.
Another visual I'm seeing is a plant that's speaking to you lately. There's like one specific plant, and I wish I had a way to explain. Let me see if it's on my wall. No. Um, it looks like a stem with like these kind of bulbs and flowers like boom, 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 boom up it. It's kind of like almost like a cone shape if you were to trace the shape of it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it just green or are there any other
There's
colors?
colors, but they don't feel very bright.
Does it look soft and
Maybe
like
white.
fluffy or is it shiny?
I see white, Christina.
Yeah,
I
I
see
see
white with
the
maybe a
white.
light pink.
Yeah. Um, if it doesn't make sense now, I can find an image of it and send it to you. Or you'll notice a plant is calling. There's something for you there as well, for you to communicate with it, for you to maybe look at it as an herb to heal within your body. There's a property there for you.
Yeah, I'd love to know what that plant is.
Great.
I
You
was,
can have your intuition right now. So
I
if
was
you
gonna say,
close
I'm
your eyes,
feeling you'll know either way
yeah,
soon.
yeah. What comes to mind first thing when you tune in? Take a breath, take a moment, no rush.
I see myself on Mount Haleakala with the huge silver sword. A lot of space there.
Okay, gorgeous. Oh, it's a great
Cord,
place to close. Yeah.
how are you feeling, Rose?
I was kind of nervous, to be honest, even though I was really excited. I don't know why I was nervous. Um, how do I feel now? I do feel a little freer and more supple. And I feel like it was a lot of information, and I look forward to like re-listening to it again to
Yeah,
see what I glean each time.
yeah. There's a lot of nuggets in this, and I think, you know, let's maybe give one next step each for her, Christina. And the thing that's coming through most for me is like that get space, get fresh. Like I see you out in fresh air, getting some space. And again, it doesn't have to be days or weeks. It's like, can you make time an extra hour a day or a couple days? Like it is very important for you to get that space to start to quiet things so you can tap into the right next steps for you.
Yeah, it keeps going back to that divine feminine. Your grandmother's really releasing a lot of cords and saying like, I'm sorry, and um, I love you and all is well, and I'm taking care of your mother, and allow that to release. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot there. That's
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
There's
And
so much in that one.
yeah, 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 that could be, a whole hour session, of course,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
you're welcome to do. I,
So,
I did think of the flower, I want to say. It's a Virginia sweet spire, and it's well documented for having grounding and nervous system settling, to give you quiet resilience, emotional flexibility. Um, yeah,
Never heard of that. I look forward to looking it up.
yeah.
Virginia what?
Sweet spire. How cute is that?
Sweet Spire.
maybe you're taking a trip to Virginia.
Yeah. A lot of these things
Wherever
make a
this
lot
leads
of
you.
sense in time.
All right. Thank you for being so open with us. That was really lovely. I've felt a lot of energy myself shift and move through this. And some big information we got. Let's have a little fun for the last minute together. Rose, can you tell us what your psychic party trick is?
Sorry, I'm still getting over the
Yeah.
crying.
No. Totally fair.
Fine.
My psychic party trick is I always know what phase the moon is in.
Oh, that's a good one.
What's it in now?
That is a
It's a
good
half
one.
moon.
Oh,
It's a
fun.
half moon. I went outside and saw it this morning.
That's
Got it.
beautiful for your duality, right? It's
Yeah.
half lit up and half in the shadow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both and.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Love that. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Christina. Thank you for your wisdom. This was
Mm.
this was really lovely, and we're excited to see how you move forward with this information.
Thank you, Brooke and Christina, both so much. It was wonderful.
Yes,
It's our absolute
absolutely.
honor.
All right. Thanks, everyone.